Hello fellow captain, welcome back to another episode of X4 here at Space Operations Delta. My name is Captain Collins and we're talking today about station building, about the complete progress of station building. We have to talk about a lot here, so we're starting from the very first beginning, and because we're doing the whole process of a station build from A to Z, this will be also not that fast-paced as the other videos, but still not like any others. This will be also cut into a very short amount of time so that you can watch it really easily the whole way through it. Quick introduction to myself. I'm Captain Collins. I'm a Twitch streamer and YouTube creator. I play shooters, strategy and simulation games. Stream from Monday to Thursday, 7 p.m. Central European Time on twitch.tv/Captain Collins. And before we move on and you like these type of videos, and maybe you saw some other videos already about X4, some other guides, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss them in the future, and you can help the channel really a lot with that. Thank you so much. So let's start this process by just going into the cockpit. Let's go. So as I said, we're doing the process the complete way. So as a new player, you have nothing there. You have some components which are necessary, but you don't have them all. So we will go through all the steps one by one. This will be a guide where you can see all the steps inside. So first thing you want to do is find a faction representative. Faction representatives you can easily see by this icon here, which is looking like a king icon. You have them for Argon, for Hatikva, and so on. And we start very easy. We just go to the Argon shipyard because that's normally the one that you see the first. You will see a lot of cuts, so this is not a complete playthrough where you see all the flying in between. So you just see the parts which are really essential for you building a station. Okay, so you docked, you got up, and then you have to move to the representative's office and you will ask them about a blueprint.
It's an honor to see you here.
So I would like to buy a blueprint. There you have a menu where you can buy all the blueprints. So this is like the basic plan to build parts from a station or ships or equipment. You can see all of this stuff here. There are some things which are available everywhere, which are general stuff, like for example drones. So once you buy them, you will have them from every faction. But there are other things, Argon specific stuff right here, or for example the Hatikva stuff. And before you can start to build a station, you need all the blueprints that go then into your station build. You have to buy at least a dock. So you have the 1M6S basic dock area. That's one you already got. You maybe want to choose a 3M6S. That means that 3M ships and 6S ships can land there. Once you have that, maybe you want to have a pier. You have that Argon 3 Dock T pier, which is standard for you when you're starting out as a young gun. A pier is something where L and XL ships can dock to. Then you have base connection structures, which will give you some possibilities to connect things to a different part of your station. You will see that later on. And then one big point, so you can choose there between 3 different sizes of storages. That is S, M, and L. They have different availability of capacity. S-class storage will give you 10,000 cubic meters place, an M-class storage will give you 100,000 cubic meters, and an L-class storage 1 million cubic meters. Then you have another thing to consider is container, liquid and solid. It depends on what you're building. If you're building a mining station where you want to have ore, you definitely need to have the solid storage. If you want to do something with gases, methane or something else, then you need to have liquid storage and containers for pretty much everything else. Since we're here, let's talk about the habitat a little bit. The habitat is a section where you can improve the yield of your station. So your station will build things more effective, faster and more, but you will need to provide that habitat with food and with medical supplies. But a station runs without a habitat, so you don't need to have that at your station at the start. Good, then you have your dock, you have your connection structures, and you have your storages. Then you just need the parts that are actually building something. So your factory, your production type of modules, which is, for example, a graphene production or a hull part production, food rations, whatever you want to build. One thing to keep in mind is also that you will not get all the modules that you need at one single faction. So maybe you have to fly from one faction representative to another faction representative to get the modules you really want to build. And also the modules are different in their orientation or if in their basic look. So if you want to build like a different station where your storages, for example, are on top of something or underneath, then you will need to get to another representative and buy the parts there, which will then make your station the way you want them to look like. One thing to keep in mind, which is very, very necessary to know, is that when you want to have your station to have defense systems, like for example shields or turrets, then you need to buy them first. You need to have the M-class turrets for some parts of a station, or maybe the L-class turrets. You will see that later on you can also go back and buy blueprints again and then put them on your station. Your modules will not come with a defense system on them already. So you have to buy the shield generators and the turrets here in the blueprints part so that you can build them on your stations later. So for now, just to show you something, then I will go with the refined metal production. You have to confirm that. And
Good luck out there.
You just unlocked a new blueprint. So for buying blueprints, you really need to dock at a station, go to the faction representative by yourself. All the other stuff you can do while in space, and we can do all the other things from our map menu. So let's go into the map. So we just bought the module for the refined metals, which means that we will transform ore into refined metals, and therefore we will need to search a system where we can gather ore, and you can search them by using your trade filters. If you don't know what a trade filter is and how it works, I will put that on the right top side right now so that you can just click on it, and then I will show you what trade filters are. But we will search with a trade filter for sectors where we can maybe put a factory in there and we will not have too much competition in. So the next thing you want to do is get a plot in here. By clicking on your map on manage plots, you can create a new plot right there. New plot is available. Create the new plot. Click on that. You can place this square thing here wherever you want to build a new plot. What you can do is change that plot size. You can change that up to 20 kilometers in every direction. You could just do that by clicking all the plus directions, or you can also go like do everything on 10, and then you have the highest available plot size. The bigger your plot, then the bigger is the price you need to pay for it. So there's a real estate transfer tax you need to pay. This is right now 8 million, that's a lot. By changing this down to the original 4x4x4, then this will go down, look at that, to 64,000 credits, which is not that much. There's also another way to do this. You can do that just by continuing your construction there, but it says building without a license will be seen as a hostile act by the local government. So this is just something you can do in your own sector, for example, or if you want to go like build a pirate station or something and you really don't want to spend that money, then just buy it somewhere in the outer sector or the outer region of a sector. Maybe then you will not get caught with that and you can spare your money there. But we will go the legal way and just buy the license there. And from here on, we can build our station in there. And don't be afraid that your plot is maybe too small or something. You can always come back and upgrade your plot afterwards. After you bought this thing, you can reset it and buy the additional license afterwards. So you can always come back and change that if you need a bigger station. When we got our plot, the next thing you want to do is of course build your station in it. And this is really cool because either way you can go into continue the construction here. Oh, and by the way, I just saw that we built this thing in Argon Prime, but it doesn't matter. It's the same as anywhere else. It's just a example, so we just go with the Argon Prime example here. It doesn't matter. So managing your plots, we're here, and if you are just in the object list, for example, you can also just right click on it and plan build. So there is your space you can build a station in, and it is pretty limited. What you want to do right here, make a list before you build the real station, how many parts you need. Maybe you want to write it down and then start it right the way which makes sense, and this is by making a dock module as your first thing to build. For example, we take the basic module right here, place it somewhere, and this will decide which part of the station will be built first. So we will come to that later, but the build order is decided by placing the modules in the right order. You want to start with a dock because then you can already dock at your station and maybe do some things. Now from here on, you can place that docking module by clicking on it, and then you can right click and drag to change the orientation. And this is pretty useful. If you hold down shift, then it will snap on to 8 different rotations there. From here on, you can left click, drag and drop. If you're in this kind of menu, you will always have the possibility to go up and down, left and right. By changing your view on this part here, you can change where you want to place this thing. So now we're going left. Up and down will be like from this kind of view, left and right. So this is really three-dimensional, and this point in the middle will give you the exact spot for the middle. So if, for example, you want to go in here, this will be the middle of it. Then you go up, and then you can place it like really at the end of this sector or of this plot. From here on, we go and take other modules, which are the connection modules. And this is a connection module for every single side. And we'll place it here. Then we need some storage, of course. We need a solid storage because this is a refined metal production. So we need a storage for ore, which will then be produced into refined metal. The refined metal itself is a container module, so you need also a container storage module. There you go, and we place another one in here. Maybe you have seen that already here. If a module is available to build anywhere, then it will snap on at the point. So wherever you go, it will snap on. And if it doesn't snap on, that means that it is not available to do a connection with this module at this point. You can just rotate them in a 2-dimensional way. You cannot rotate them 3-dimensionally. So if you have a module which can just be placed onto something, then it will only get onto something, not underneath or anywhere else. So you can't just rotate it like you want it. This is not available. So as I said, you also have the build order, which you can also see at the top right. So we're starting with the basic dock area, then the cross connection, then the 2 storages. And if you don't want to have something dragging around, then just click somewhere else and it's gone. So we have docking, storage, and then we need the production modules. Be sure that you always have an energy cell on it, because you need energy like for everything. And you don't want to buy energy cells for every single station, and you don't need any resources or nothing to produce energy on your station. So just build an energy cell for every station you build. And I want to have that a little bit farther away. And as you see, my module there doesn't connect to. Then there is also a thing to consider. If it doesn't snap to this position you want it to have, because it's just into 2 directions or maybe just 1 direction snapped on, then click on it while it's green somewhere, just place it, and then do the thing we just did beforehand. Click on it 1 time, then your mouse changes and right click it, change the orientation, and there you go. It will snap onto this and this right now. It will not
Please
snap
hold.
on to the
We will
ones
be scanning
before.
your inventory.
Perfect. Now we have some room. Want to have the next connector, and there I want to have
go.
an
The scan came
energy
back
cell
clean.
production. As you see, this is not working as I want it. So place it, left click, click again on it, left click, right click, drag it, and then you can put it in there. Why does it not work? I will tell you why it will not work. Because it's outside of the box. So maybe we need to put our station somewhere else. And maybe this also doesn't work and our plot is just not big enough. So there you go. You have to do some Tetris there so that everything fits. For example, take that module, put it somewhere else, like for example here. That will work if you have all snapped on and you just click on, maybe on the docking module. I think that works the best with the docking module. And then you can drag the complete station around. There you go. Perfect. Now we have some room there for the energy cell production, because I wanted to have that in this orientation on this part. So there you go. It's snapped on. It's green. Everything works. The next thing we want to do is refined metals. Refined metals works. Oh, as you can see, it just snaps on at the bottom. So for example here, or right at this part. And this doesn't work because there is no place for it. Again, we're very limited with space here. Maybe you have to do some adjustments. Put your station a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, maybe up, down. You will see 2 by 2 by 2 kilometers will fit the first few stations, but maybe you have to tweak it a little bit so that everything fits in there. There you go. There is the refined metal production. This will make sure that we can get energy there. We can get ore from the basic dock area there, which will then be produced into refined metals. The refined metals will go into the container storage and then be sold at the docking area. Perfect. So when you have your station ready to go, you have everything put wherever you want, then you're not over in this menu. Then we have to move to the right side of this menu to the module section. As you can see, there are some edit buttons there for some types of modules. And when you press these edit buttons, you get the one specific module there. This is exactly like building a ship. So you have to give these modules a shield or a turret. You have to give every single part of this an assignment, otherwise nothing will be built on. You get the turret groups here on the top side, then you can confirm the loadout right on the bottom right, and your loadout is saved. You can do that for every single module you want by clicking these edit buttons, or you can preset all station modules with, for example, a low preset. But keep in mind that, as you saw, there was just one storage module and it had 8 turret groups. Even with a low preset, this will cost you a lot more. So maybe you want to do that by your own, so you have the control over how much you're spending there. Okay, let's move on. Resources available in build storage. There is none because you don't have a build storage right now. Then you see the resources needed to complete the changes there. These are all the resources you would need. And you can also manage buy offers for needed resources. There applies a trade rule. You can set trade rules for your station building. If you don't know what these trade rules are, there is a card right top corner. You will get a info. What does trade rule mean? Then just pause that video, go and watch what is a trade rule. Very, very good thing. And of course, if you have, for example, a station which is already providing you, for example, with hull parts, then you can just set the hull parts a specific trade rule to be supplied just by your own ships and not by others. So if you're done with these individual offers, then one thing you really want to do, if you don't have all the parts by yourself, is giving your station the money to produce all of it. So you can just click on accept estimate and it will give the station the credits that it needs to buy all the parts for your station. The estimate is pretty okay. Maybe you want to give it a little bit more, that it will be provided with drones or some other stuff you will later think of. So give it just a little bump there and confirm that you're good to go with the credits for your station. Okay, so you have all the blueprints. You have built your station there in the plot. You have assigned money to everything. You have also upgraded your modules with turrets and shields and everything. What else? The next thing you want to do is hire a builder somewhere on the map to let it build. So here with this button, assign or hire a builder, you then go back to the map, and the only ships that you will see are these construction vessels that are flying around everywhere. Don't be too picky because everyone will cost basically the same. So you just want to have one which is a short range of your station. Right click on it, select, then your builder is assigned. The last thing you want to do is confirm module changes. Then what will happen is the builder will fly there. It has got your job and it will produce something here at this point. This is the storage module that is being built. And if you want to see that station running, then join me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Captain Collins. This is where you can find me. This is where you can find this station. It will be in there. Thank you so much for watching. This was my station build guide from A to Z. If you have some other questions, then you can always drop them wherever you want. And we're very open about this. Thank you so much for watching and have a good time. See you again soon. Bye. It's Captain Collins. Thank you for stopping by. See ya soon.